guys, it's Jen. I hope you're doing well. Happy Friday. Today is a very special day, or I should say very special video. It's my first collab video with anyone else on YouTube, but most importantly, it's a collab with another nursing vlogger, Ashley Atkins. So if you don't know about her, make sure you look at the description box below, as well as stay tuned for a short clip from Ashley at the end of the video, linking her to her channel so you can take a look at her latest video, which is the collab video with this, and get her perspective on her likes and dislikes for Pedi and OB. Okay, so let's start talking about my likes and dislikes. And I want you guys to take this information and just wrap your mind around what you may expect. I don't expect you guys to agree with me 100%. Obviously, we all have different opinions, but I just want to just kind of share with you my overall impression of the two classes, especially since they were both 8-week classes. All right. Okay, guys. So let's just talk about my OB likes. These are not in any particular order, so I'm just gonna go right down the list. So what I liked about OB was the textbook. It was easier to understand, easier to read, which obviously makes it a lot easier to do well in exams. I really like the fact that in OB, they introduce you to new skills, maternity skills, newborn skills, as well as inserting an IV catheter. The OB content was actually really interesting. It was definitely relatable to me. I am a woman, so learning more about women's health really just kind of kept me intrigued and kept me interested to really learn. I will say that I would probably add this to my dislikes because it kind of freaked me out. When I was learning certain things that could possibly go wrong, it made me anxious to just think about all of the medical things that could happen to a woman. So I would say the content is a like and a dislike. So I really like using success books for OB. During the pediatrics course, I didn't use any extra NCLEX practice question books. So for OB, it was just, I felt better prepared, like I knew more because I would do probably 200 to 300 practice questions for each exam. So I like the fact that I bought my NCLEX book and really used it to learn OB material. One fascinating thing about OB is that you get to experience the life of a new human. Seeing a child born is awesome. And I will say, because I'm not a mom yet, and I've always had this just like feeling when it came to pregnant women and just, you know, labor. I kind of was consumed with all of the horror stories, and that really had my anxiety really high, and I didn't know how I was going to handle being in labor and delivery and watching a woman give birth. And so I'm just glad that I actually had the exact opposite of what I was thinking was going to happen. I really enjoyed being there and experiencing it. So I liked lecture better in OB than pediatrics. People would disagree with me. The instructor stood up there, had a PowerPoint slideshow on the big screen, and kind of just literally talked through all of the slides. There was nothing extra, nothing special, but I enjoyed that because I had the slides with me. For pediatrics, it was more of preparing before class, reading before class, and you kind of just went around and answered the questions that were assigned for homework. So I enjoyed lecture in OB better. What I really liked about OB was the fact that I had a lot more hands-on experience at the clinical site versus pediatrics. The nurses were willing to teach me, let me try in the OB units, and I really just enjoyed doing versus watching. Something that I don't think a lot of people realize is that you get to take care of a newborn baby as well as a mom, depending on the unit that you're in. But for the most part, you do get the experience to taking care of the baby, the mother, and just the family, which I thought was really nice. So I wasn't just stuck with working with the mom or the baby. I kind of was able to do both. What I really liked about OB was the fact that they were shorter days. They were from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. versus pediatrics was 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. I really enjoyed the clinical days in OB. There were 5 clinical days in a hospital, as well as an additional day at a prenatal clinic in my city. I really liked the fact that I was able to work in 2 different environments, And on top of all of that, I love the fact that in the hospital I was able to rotate from antepartum to labor and delivery to postpartum to NICU and newborn nursery. That was fantastic, and I've really enjoyed just getting to do so many different things with women and babies. Lastly, I really enjoyed the fact that I had the opportunity to use my native Spanish tongue to talk and translate to patients, which is kind of neat because I try not to do that during other times when I'm in the unit, but during this specific day at the prenatal clinic, it was kind of a necessity for me to be able to communicate and help the staff kind of catch up with everything that was happening in that day. Okay, so let's just talk about the dislikes of OB. Really didn't like the fact that they were cramming so much new information per each exam. That really kept our stress high because there was a lot to learn. I also really didn't enjoy the big packets of clinical paperwork that we had to complete for OB. A lot more paperwork than I think any other semester, so didn't really like that. One thing I didn't like about OB was the fact that they changed my clinical day from a Tuesday to a Saturday. And I will say I might also put this in my likes for OB because traffic was a lot, like no one was on the road, so I was able to get to the clinical site really easy. And I don't know, I just think the staff that works on the weekend, or at least in the hospital that I was at, was very friendly to work with. Probably the friendliest group of nurses I worked with in my last, year and a half. So that wraps it up for my likes and dislikes for OB, so let's just switch it on over to my pediatrics likes and dislikes. So I really liked my teacher in pediatrics. She really kind of sets up a really great learning environment, so I was never really afraid to ask questions, you know, kind of say some dumb stuff and have her really teach me. So I really enjoy a teacher like that. I really love the fact that during my pediatrics rotation that I was able to have 4 patients, obviously with a nurse, in the NICU level 2. I really love the NICU at that specific clinical site, and I just love taking care of the babies. It was just really awesome. I wish every day in pediatrics I was with the babies in NICU, which is probably why I liked OB, NICU, and nursery. Okay, so this may be a like and a dislike, is the fact that the teacher assigned homework, which was 30 to 50 like open-ended questions to review while you've read the text. This was great because I personally type it all up, and at the end, which I did glance at it for my final review, but everything was already typed. So I'm thinking in the future when I'm ready to sit for the NCLEX that when it's time to review my pediatric nursing, that I can pull those out and just read my notes. And since they're typed, it's a lot neater than trying to look through a bunch of scribbled notes. What I liked about the pediatrics rotation was the fact that this was the actual semester that I was able to work with children. And I'm saying children, you know, children under the age of 18. Obviously in other facilities I was able to work with, you know, 18 and up, which, I mean, they're not children, but this really was a great semester to work with kids from, you know, a couple of days old all the way up to, I think I had someone in maybe 11, 12. So it was just kind of cool. The last thing that I liked about pediatrics was that I had 4 clinical days and 2 additional days at a elementary middle school where I was able to work with the school nurse. This was kind of neat because it exposes to a different environment to work in with children. It was great to see the children really be responsible, especially the diabetic kids, as well as other children, which kind of gave me just more experience working with them, asking them questions, what hurts, what doesn't, what happened, and I just thought it was pretty neat. Okay, so let's talk about my dislikes. The first and most important part for me was the fact that because the nurses really guard their patients, it really does not allow for a lot of hands-on experience to work with the children. I troubleshooted a Wii system, I took vital signs, silenced IV machines, and that's pretty much it. Like, there was really no other skills that I was able to practice, so that's kind of a bummer of pediatrics clinical rotation. Secondly, what I really didn't like was the fact that the census really determines if you're able to stay on the unit. Obviously, if the census is high, that means children are ill, but for learning opportunities, it kind of stunts our experience. One day out of my 4 days at the hospital, I had to sit in a conference room and kind of do other work to get points, or have a clinical day under my belt, because there weren't enough patients, so therefore there weren't enough RNs to take on the students that were scheduled to be at the hospital that day. So third, I really didn't enjoy the textbook. For some reason, it was just a little harder to read and harder to kind of comprehend. I definitely preferred the OB textbook versus the pediatrics textbook. Lastly, I don't know if I should put this here, but the fact that I don't really have much personal experience with children. All of my cousins are growing up, we're kind of the same age. I'm never really around small children, and I don't have children of my own, so it was really hard to kind of grasp some of the growth and development things that the children were to do. It was hard to kind of apply all of the fine details of, at 6 months they have to do this, at a year they have to do that. If they're not doing this by 2 years, that could mean something else. So I really didn't like that, because I felt like I had to put my mind back into kind of A&P 1, where I'm just learning by just memorization, not really applying it to anything. Okay, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Up next is a short clip from Ashley, and I'm super excited that we were able to get this video out to you guys. Don't forget to visit her channel. The information will be in the box below, as well as at the end of this video. And like always, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and share the videos. Bye.
Hey guys, it's Ashley Atkins. I hope you guys enjoyed Jeanette's video. Make sure you give her a thumbs up and subscribe to her channel, and then head over to my channel to hear my perspective on my likes and dislikes from OB and Peds.
Hey guys, it's Jeanette from iFitNurse. I hope you really enjoyed this video. Also, don't forget to check out Ashley. And don't forget to blah 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 blah. View my latest video. Why can't I say this? In OB. I hope you guys. Woo! Okay.